Douglas here from Ignite Labs. In this video demonstration, I'm going to be walking you through the very first level of the latest Capture the Flag challenge from InfoSec Institute. And by latest, I mean I believe this is their second challenge. It is July 7, 2015, and I'm using Weaker Than Linux 6. By default, Weaker Than Linux 6 has Firefox installed, the developer edition, as its browser. In the next releases, you're going to see it replaced with Google Chrome because I personally feel as a professional developer that Google Chrome has better development tools, unfortunately, even though I was using the developer edition of Firefox, which is kind of strange. But anyways, if anybody has any objections, please like me on Facebook and answer some of my polls there. I'm going to be putting a couple of polls there for people to make choices. I just want to make things easier for you guys to get this version of Weaker Than Linux to be the best one you've ever used. So let's just jump right in. Because it's the very first video and most likely a small series, because InfoSec Institute promises that this one has more web application penetration testing, as you see here, practical web hacking. I'm very excited about it, and instead of doing the write-ups, I'm actually going to be creating videos. So just because I feel like it's a little bit more personal for you to watch them, and it's almost like hands-on. So the URL for this is ctf.infosecinstitute.com. And if you just go there, you're presented with, this is the older one, Hacking for Noobs, and the Practical Web Hacking is the newest one. Click on that, and you can read all about it here. But if you go up here to levels and just go to level 1, you can just instantly start hacking. So the very first stipulation here to capture this flag is that they want cross-site scripting magic. And they want a JavaScript alert to display the message capital E lowercase x number 1. So let's jump right in. I'm going to be just writing in some JavaScript script tags here and seeing if this input gets sent to the page or not. And by sent to the page, I'm going to be showing you what I mean by that in a second. Okay, so we have here, this looks like a form validation from HTML5. Right-click anywhere in the form and go to Inspect Element. And you should hear the developer tools here, which are absolutely awesome in Google Chrome. It goes right into the form. This is the form right here. Now, there are two ways to get rid of validation. Validation is, this is, even though this is just type text, they put a pattern constraint here, and this is pattern attribute. The next one, this one is a type URL. Yes, so that's a URL type. Anyways, so what we can do here is two different ways to do this. We can break validation by adding no validate attribute up here to the form, or for this one right here, the URL one, we could just technically leave broken and just type in an actual URL here. But for this one up here, what I'm going to do is just change the regular expression here. This regular expression right here says the only characters that are allowed are the range from capital A to capital Z and from lowercase a to lowercase z. Well, we have more characters than that there. We obviously have our less than bracket, greater than bracket. We have parentheses, which are surrounding the in single quotes ext1 message. We have a semicolon, which terminates the alert command. Alert function. And then we have a / for the ending script. So all of these characters here, we have to add the 1. So we actually have to put we could just put a 1, but I'm going to put 0-9, just put the entire range of numbers there. Now we can see that this part right here, it did blink and light up. It's ready to go. Let's hit next. And yes, look, the form validation disappeared from this right here. So let's try it again, and you can see that it's still here. It needs a URL because the type is URL. Now you could probably just change this here to text and see if that works. That actually broke it. So let's change it back to URL. This is a fun thing about hacking, is this is kind of like fuzzing. You can just do whatever you want to it. Okay, so all right, so let's go up here to form, and let's just break this so you can see it. Now that we know the regular expression for allowing all of the characters for a JavaScript injection. Let's see here. So we're going to put in no validate. And you can put it equals, and then in quotes you could put no validate again. But I'm just going to put it there alone because I'm a lazy developer. There it blinks and everything looks good. I love these developer tools. Hit next, and yes, look, it is inserted, and it's not really inserted. If you think about this, obviously this isn't going into a database anywhere because I didn't log into anything, and how would they keep track of that? Maybe my IP address, who knows? What if I were using proxies or some sort of round robin proxy? Who knows? So this is most likely just changing the DOM right here, which means JavaScript is just adding this right into the page. So it's not really any type of cross-site scripting. This is more like emulating persistent cross-site scripting. And persistent means that when you hit add link, this would actually go into a database, and every single time somebody went to this particular file right here, ex1, your code would run. Now, this code isn't going to run because it looks like they translated the angle brackets into &LT and &GT, so they could be displayed on the page, which is kind of like a way to scrub the data as it's put in there, so this type of attack doesn't actually work. But another type of cross-site scripting, the only other one I know of, is reflective, which means you add your code directly into here. What code equals, and then you just put script code, you could put script tags rather, and then you could put your alert up here. Now, this would work if somebody were using like an old-fashioned browser like Firefox. This could actually make it run in their browser. I don't know if Firefox has changed that or not, but I know Google Chrome has protection against cross-site scripting by default. At least it used to. A couple of maybe a year ago or so. But anyways, now that we have this in here, we need to check JavaScript and see what is actually translating these. So JavaScript is usually put in the, where's it usually put? In the head. So let's go through here. We have this. This looks CSS. Here's JavaScript, but that's generic. There's JavaScript's generic. CSS. Look, this looks like it's homebrew right here. It includes functions.js. So we're going to go up to sources up here at the top, CTF2, and we're going to go down to includes, and we're going to check functions.js. You could just anywhere, if you click anywhere in this window, hit Control F, we could do a search for &LT, and 0 out of 0, which means that's not the file doing it. But oh, look, we do have a JavaScript folder here. Let's close this one and open. There's only one. It makes it so easy. Let's do. Oh, look, there are two matches for ampersand less than, which means that is most likely what's translating it. So let me make this a little bit bigger so you can actually see what's going on here. Okay, so first of all, it looks like the input for the site name and site URL is going through two methods here, a trim method and a replace method. The replace is doing global, and it's changing the less than in the angle bracket for less than into an ampersand less than, which is kind of like scrubbing it. And then it's also doing that for, let's see, it's also doing it for a greater than also. Look, this one seems like it's broken. Trim of undefined. Okay, so let's just actually let's get rid of trim. I don't know why somebody would use trim. So let's do semicolon to terminate that, and these two forward slashes are turning this into comments, which means they're not being translated anymore by the browser. Now see this little star up here? That means you have to hit Control S to save it. And now when you save it, this little thing changes to the file were not saved to file system. Well, they kind of were. They were saved in your cache. So let's make this smaller now. And let's see if we hit this now. Yes, look, the JavaScript alert is executed from here since it's not displayed in the green. If we hit OK, look, the second one in the site URL was also executed as well. So that's how we get past these. That's how we break simple form validation for using JavaScript. If you think about it, JavaScript's kind of like icing on a cake, and the cake is kind of like the server. Now you want to use the server to do all your scrubbing and your form validation and stuff. You don't want to use JavaScript to doing it, but JavaScript is just another layer added onto it for like a like a user experience, and it makes convenience for users. So this is video 1, and thanks for watching.